Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
You're watching the World of Outlaws World Finals, featuring NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, Case Construction Equipment Late Models, and Super Dirt Car Series. All in action at the dirt track at Charlotte. The best drivers, the best coverage. On Dirt Vision, home to the greatest shows on dirt.
Back-to-back days here at Charlotte, North Carolina. The sun is out. The best part, though, about today, Thursday, at day 2 of the World of Outlaw World Finals, that wind is gone. That sunshine feels oh so good as we welcome you to Race Day Live from the Sage Fruit stage, as we've got some great guests coming up. If you're within earshot here in the Manufacturers Midway, we invite you to come on up. And for those of you watching at home, we hope you are entertained. My name is Dave Rieff. I'm out of the Dirt Vision studio on the property. Next to me, the man that calls all the shots down in the pits for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. His name, of course, is Chase Raudman. Now, Chase, I have to ask you, yesterday we had a California driver, Carson Macedo, sitting up here looking like a frigid ice block.
Yes.
Are you cold too out here, or are you seasoned enough traveling?
No. Right now, I'm doing okay, Dave. But that's kind of like the running joke, right? Is with me at least, is if it goes below 70 degrees, I'm putting the jacket on, I'm putting the sweatshirt on, I'm cold. But right now, we're doing okay. The sun's out. It's weird. It's one of those times where the sun's out, there's not a cloud in the sky, but it's cold outside. I hate that. What can you do, though?
Well, we're going to warm up. The best news is the meteorologist says it's only going to get better from here. And it is going to get better, too, on the racetrack, because today we start racing with purpose. Yesterday qualifying, what were your overall impressions of yesterday's program here for a 4-day event that now sees all 3 of our series on track for all 4 days? That's cool.
Well, I just thought the racetrack was in really good shape. For as many laps that were put on the track, it seemed like it was very racy. I mean, we weren't racing, obviously, but there was 2 grooves you could run. I mean, right up against the wall, which is always exciting in qualifying. When you get guys right up next to the wall, it makes it very fun to watch, even when there's only 2 cars out there. Very thin bottom to run on both ends. So I thought the track shaped up really good for as many laps as were put on it. So that leads me to believe that tonight we're going to see some really good action. And
of course, we're going to have some drivers to talk to about moving forward here. Some great storylines in all of the series. Super Dirt Car Series, the Beast of the Northeast from up north in New York. Of course, we've got the World of Outlaws Case Construction Late Models. We're officially now, after qualifying, Bobby Pierce is your champion. What an incredible year he's put together. And of course, we've got the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Here's what's on tap for the show today, scheduled to go over the next hour. In just a few minutes, we'll introduce you to a couple of guys you might have heard of on the NOS Energy Sprint Car side. Then coming up later, we will have Jack Lehner and Peter Britten come up representing the Super Dirt Car Series, talk to them about their years and of course about going into heat racing tonight. World of Outlaw Case Construction Late Models going to be represented by Ryan Gustin and Todd Cooney coming up at about let's go ahead and call it around the 4 o'clock hour. And then we're going to get Lauren Albano from NOS Energy and Eric Singhaus from the racetrack. We tried to talk to those guys yesterday, but let's get things kicked off right now and get some of these drivers up here, because I know you don't want to hear chasing me ramble on forever. So let's start with that World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. And go ahead and clap your hands, because a couple of powerhouse players. Let's bring them up now. Out of Grass Valley, California, driver of the KKR Napa Auto Parts 49, it's your point leader, Brad Sweet. And out of Watertown, Connecticut, the Big Game Motorsports car number 2, it's David Gravel. And this, of course, is, again, your championship chase here now for the 3rd consecutive year. Brad, let's start with you. What's your comfort level, man? You've done this before, right? So it gets easier?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a little stressful, here at Charlotte. It's a long season, and, anytime it comes down to one event, anything can happen out on the racetrack. But, obviously being here and being in these situations, and, having those championships under our belt, gives us a little bit of confidence, and it gives us, I guess we're not as stressed out maybe as we once were. Last year I think the points were closer. The first year I won the championship with Donnie was probably the most stressful year. So, it's always stressful, but always enjoy coming to Charlotte. Obviously a little chilly, but, just ready to get the racing going here.
Now, my next question for you is, it's crazy to think that now 4 championships, working on number 5, but every single one of them has been less than 100 points by the end of it between you and second place. I feel like that's pretty crazy thinking about when Donnie was on his run. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 years when there was less than 100 points, so that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I think Donnie's, was clearly superior for a number of years there. I think his win columns were in the mid to high 20s, even low 30s a few of those years, and he was in a great position with a great race team, and David and I were still learning and rookies, and we've certainly taken our strides and gotten our deals better, and me and David's careers have always kind of been parallel once we got into the sprint cars. David's done it with multiple teams, but David's a super fierce competitor, and we battled for many wins for the last 10 years, and had a lot of fun racing David. We're pretty good friends, but obviously when we're on the track, we both want to win.
11 wins for you this year, 10 for you, David. Really, the thing, I broke that around exactly. The bottom line is, though, is you've been more consistent over the course of the year. Are there any points when you look back, David, and think, doggone it, shame it went that way, but there's still an opportunity?
Yeah, it's been a really good year. We've had 3 DNFs this year, and one was my fault, one was a part failure, and one was a tire blown on us past halfway in the feature. So those 3 things are really hard to overcome, and we've had some other things throughout the year as well. But I feel like we've been really resilient all year, and led early, then had some stuff happen, and then came back to get real close to the lead, and then just had a disastrous week at Jackson. And since then, Brad had a really good West Coast swing and won some races out there, and we just keep fighting, and I feel like we get going once it's Williams Grove, Port Royal time, and coming into here with a lot of momentum. But you can't dig yourself a hole 2 or 3 times in a year. Maybe one time you could dig yourself out, but after that it's really hard. When by the math, we're running 5th every night, so. If I run second or win, he's running 5th, and if he wins, I'm probably running 4th or 5th that night. So you trade points a lot of nights, and it's the nights where you run outside the top 10. You better take advantage of that and run inside the top 10 and hopefully the podium to make those up. So Brad doesn't do that very often, and it gets annoying sometimes, that's for sure.
David, I've been watching a lot of NHL hockey here over the last 2 years, and it seems like I hear the word journeyman a lot with some players where they go to a lot of different teams throughout their career. I feel like that's kind of right up your alley, right? I mean, you've been to a lot of different teams in your World of Outlaws career, but do you think that Big Game Motorsports kind of has everything all put together as all the ones you've ran?
Yeah, I've been tossed around a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not a lot by choice, but some has been, and I've driven for a lot of great car owners. Some people just have different outlooks or maybe stop believing in you. And I think here at Big Game Motorsports, Todd gave me a great offer to come to his race team, and he believes in me, and he believes in Cody. And luckily, he's really financially well off, and we don't have to worry and struggle about big-time sponsors. Financially, our team's in a good place. So we just get to focus on building our program to the best of our abilities and trying to build and work towards what Donnie and Ricky had and what Eric and Brad has. I'm pretty proud for the amount of wins I've had in my career, but I think the difference with Brad and me is he's been in the same place, and that's how you win championships. It was pretty rare that Darren Pittman won a championship with KKR the first year with a team. He couldn't come back and do the same, so it just shows you how hard that is. But typically, people that win championships they're building dynasties. Same thing with Jason Myers. How long was he on the World of Outlaw Tour till he won his first championship? So I'm really proud of what we've all accomplished, but no doubt a championship is high on the list, that's for sure.
I'll take that right from Chase. And if you're a journeyman, that means you're a one-team career player, and you guys have really put some amazing numbers together over the last 4 years. I did some crunching. 340 events since 2019. You've won 55 times. It's a team. It's a chemistry. How difficult is that to maintain year to year and improve on like you have?
Yeah, I think it's really hard. It's it's a journey to get to the top level of any sport, and certainly a journey. And to David's point, it takes a number of years to to build something with your team, and Eric and I, Andrew, Joe Mooney the last few years, and then Ty Wolfgang this year. Casey gives us everything we need year in and year out, and he's out here racing with us, so he really understands what it takes to to really put together a winning team. And he's really supportive. He's a great car owner. So all that stuff helps, and we have a great family atmosphere at KKR, and it's been a great place, obviously. And it took me a number of years to get to that point, chasing Donnie and studying Donnie. He was just so hard to beat there, and getting Eric at the right time. We both had been through the experiences that we needed to go through, and we complement each other. And at this point, we've been on a great run together.
Now, this is probably a question for both of you. I'll start with you, David, but I feel like 3 years ago when I came to my first World Finals, it was a relatively big event, I would say, but it seems like every single year this event is ramping up more and more and more people, more cars showing up, more
Extra
stuff
day,
going on.
More racing, absolutely.
Exactly. More stuff. I mean, it's a 4-day event now. What have you noticed? I mean, you've been coming here for the better part of maybe 10 years now at this point.
I think when I first came down, and maybe it was just us, I think, and then maybe we had the late models a couple years in, and then we added the big block modifieds as well. So it's definitely progressed. It used to be, I think, 2 days, and then it went to 3 days, and then now 4 days. So it's grown. I remember we always have a kickoff party at the Carolina Ale House, or this bar, that bar, the brewery down the road. They always kind of did that on I think PRN or something like that. And it's always fun to come down. A lot of people from the Northeast come down if they're SK Modified fans or Big Block Modified fans come down to see us. And it's just, we know a lot of people that come down here. Obviously, all the ex-sprint car mechanics that work on NASCAR teams. And, Butler Built Seats is here. That's a supporter of mine. And just a lot of different things. A lot of people at Hendrick Motorsports and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. We like coming to Charlotte. I wish it wasn't cold for everybody, but this is what we got.
Brad?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing. I think from a fan's perspective, it's a great event. There's, obviously the best of the best in late models, the best of the best in sprint cars, and the big block modifieds. So a fan gets, extreme value. They get to see all the different disciplines, and it's kind of the last event of the year. So, they can buy their merchandise, they can meet all their favorite drivers. Late model fans get to see sprint cars or vice versa. I think it's a great event. For us, it's a little bit stressful, obviously always contending for a championship, and when there's so many classes running, we sit around a lot. So that part of it I don't love as a driver, but I certainly love to see big events for sprint car racing and race in front of big fan bases like we have here. So it's a great event. They've done a good job, and obviously it's a little chilly, but this isn't too bad.
You're from California as well. We'll give you a benefit of the doubt there. But Chase talked about the points differentials in those championships. It was +4 back in 2019, 46 better than Logan in 2020, 80 and 48 over David Gravel. It's 50 going in. You mentioned the stress that goes along with this. Have you been able to deal with that stress better as these challenges keep coming right in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, you have a desire to win your first championship, and when I was going against Donnie that first year, you couldn't sleep. It was just one of those things where you wanted to win so bad. And then once I accomplished it, I felt like each year it's a lot less stressful. I don't really pay much attention to the points. Obviously you want to win the points, but it's just not the as a big a thing to me. I think now that I've won 4 and just have a lot of other things going on. My family's always with me, and I think there's a lot of things in perspective. So I just race each and every night as hard as I can, and I'm always happy to accept the outcome.
I gotta call BS on you. This is the guy that corrected me on who won more races than the other. They say they don't pay attention to points, right? I've done this stuff for 30 years. You guys know what's going on.
I'm not going to say that we don't know where the points are. I just think it's not something that stresses me out as much as it once did.
Having won 4 titles, does it stress you out?
Exactly.
It's always stressful, what the pay breakdown is per position, and you want to make sure you always finish as high as you can on the podium. But you always want to look at when you do bad, you're doing the math on how much you lost, and you can't make up what you lost, but you try moving forward to be better and try to slowly gain those points back. But yeah, points racing is not for the faint of the heart, that's for sure. It's a stressful thing, and every single race matters. And the hardest part in racing is when it's out of your control and something does happen. That's just racing. I believe Donnie had a crazy stat years ago of a non-DNF for several years, and then I think Brad had the same as well. And a lot of that is obviously being prepared as a race car driver and a race team, but sometimes it's luck as well. You could do everything perfect and somebody wrecks right in front of you, no matter if it's a lap car or a lead lap car, or you blow a tire with a couple to go. And when you could put a stretch of 3 years without a DNF, that's something that's really, really, really hard to do, and something to be proud of as well. And that's what it takes to win the championships. You obviously got to win, but you got to be consistent, and you can't DNF very often.
I got one more question for you, and I'll say it to David here. David, I feel like a big selling point in sprint car racing for fans and things like that is, you get 3 laps of practice on most nights, right? We're not practicing for 3 days and then going to race, right? Tonight, however, is crazy. There's not even any hot laps. You guys are going straight into the heat race. What's that going to be like?
Yeah, it's honestly pretty terrible for the race teams. I mean, it's dirt racing, right? It's not NASCAR or a pavement track where you kind of know what the track's going to be like. Literally today, the track could be a complete 180 of what it was yesterday, and the track was slick, and we struggled for grip last night, and now we're the first cars on the racetrack today, where last night we were the last cars on the racetrack today. So there's a lot of pressure on the crew chiefs and the teams to prepare a car that's going to be close out there, and it's really, really hard for us, especially we don't get to practice or hot lap much as it is, but we make the most of those 2 or 3 laps we do get in hot laps. So yeah, I mean, it's a thing where you could go out there and your car's really good and everything's fine, or you could go out there and you're out to lunch and put the boat anchor out in the heat race. So you just never know, and that's what makes this weekend stressful, like Brad says. I mean, it's just not a walk in the park. There's 50-something cars here, and you're going to have good guys in the second and third row of all these heat races. So it's definitely not easy. And qualifying, if you qualify good, all right, that's a stress relief. But now it's the heat race. Like, you get through the heat race well, okay, now we can just go race in the feature. But every facet of this format means a lot.
You got a quick retort before we say goodbye about tonight?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't, think it's a great idea, but I think it's just part of having this many cars, and that's, I understand from the fan base and what we're trying to do. So, obviously it's good, but from a racer, it's, that's not good, but it is what it is. We just go out there and we put the show on each and every night. We try our best.
Hey, the storyline's virtually untapped with these two, but we got to let them go. They are the first cars on the racetrack. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your point leader, Brad Sweet, and his drive for 5, David Gravel, the man who's going to try to run him down over the next 3 nights. Gentlemen, be safe this evening. Race Day Live will roll on in just about 3 minutes from now as we turn our attention to the Super Dirt Car Series as Jack Lehner and the lovable Peter Britten join us on our Race Day Live set. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
My 2000 Ford Ranger has 167,000 miles on it, and it recently started giving me problems. It was starting rough and would stall now and again. It had a terrible idle. It was recommended to try Seafoam motor treatment in the gas tank. It took a few days, but the engine was running so much better. Great product.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to seafoamworks.com.
Since their 2001 inception, DMI Racing Components have changed the game. From open-wheel suspension, steering, and driveline components to their line of Bulldog quick change rears, they set the new standard for innovation, performance, and value. DMI and Bulldog products are backed by the best customer support in the industry with more than 150 years of race-winning experience. Let our experience help guide you to victory lane. We race, you race. Let's race together.
You're messing with some forces that your mind can't comprehend. I done been to the bottom, I ain't going back again. So when the hell you think you're playing with now? You don't fall around and let the wolf out. And I'll be prowling while you sleep. You were playing for fun, I'm playing to eat.
It is Race Day Live from the Sage Fruit Stage. How's everybody doing here in the Midway at Charlotte Motor Speedway? You guys doing okay? Can I get a heck yeah?
No.
Okay, we're going to wait for racing. We'll go ahead and make that happen. Time now to bring up our Super Dirt Car Series interviews for the afternoon. Please help me welcome from Saratoga Springs, New York, the driver of the Jack Lehner Racing number 2. They call him the Ginger Ninja. It's Jack Lehner. And joining him from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, that is the Peter Britten Racing car number 21. They call him the Batman. It's Peter Britten. Hi, guys.
How we doing?
There we go. We got a few people waking up out there.
Let me fix our microphones for you here. We'll give you that one, Jack. And if you could slide that one to the Batman there.
Might even roll it around.
There we go.
You bet.
There you go.
Well, let's start with talking about yesterday. Qualifying. 5 points out there. Everybody's still points racing, trying to get themselves positioned. How did qualifying go for you? Let's start with you, Jack.
I mean, you know, I guess it went smoother for us than it did for Peter over here. We were just talking about, but you know, we weren't necessarily as good as we wanted to be right off the trailer, and you know, I think the track's a little bit different this year than it has been. It's just a little bit slicker, and normally it's pretty wet and wide open, so we were prepared for that, and then we were kind of chasing it all night. So, you know, hopefully we made the right changes today, and we can go forward in the heat race.
Peter?
Yeah, don't worry. You make changes today, it'll be different tonight. So that's the way it always goes.
That's racing.
Yeah, our qualifying didn't go well. Me and my teammate, we both lost a motor in hot laps. So we unloaded the backup car, and you know, I was able to keep going. You know, and you know, I think we had decent qualifying speed. You know, I think we're third in our heat for tonight and fourth for tomorrow. So you know, not. Obviously, you want to be right up front, but yeah, all things considered, you know, we're in a decent spot, and we'll see what happens.
I feel like big block modified racing is a relatively niche market, niche fan base, right? You guys are all kind of in that, you know, Northeast area. But how big of a deal is it to be here at the World Finals with a lot of people watching on Dirt Vision, a lot of people here in the stands to kind of maybe show people that maybe have never seen big blocks what they're all about? I feel like it's a pretty big weekend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anytime we get to break out of, like you said, our niche in the Northeast and travel a little bit and showcase our cars and our racing is a good thing. And, you know, it seems like the feedback that I've gotten, at least from a lot of the fans that don't get to watch us all the time, you know, they really enjoy watching us race, and we put on a good show. So, I mean, it's awesome down here. You're on probably the biggest stage for dirt racing, and being at the World Finals with the other two premier divisions. So, you know, it's quite the spectacle, and it's something that's cool to be a part of.
You know, Charlotte's not the only place, too. You got to remember the season starts with the Dirt Car Nationals. It's already coming up in 3 months. You guys get to go down to Florida, and that is the site of one of your 3 big wins. It will always be, for the rest of my life, one of my favorite interviews when you scream, "We got a gator!"
Crocodile, yeah. Yeah, it's Florida's fun. I mean, and you know, like Jack was saying, like coming to these events, it's fun for us too. You know, to be a part of a like big weeks like the World Finals and the Dirt Car Nationals. You know, and Florida's good too because obviously most of us are all based up in the Northeast in New York, and you know, it's pretty snowy and cold up there, and just any excuse to get out of New York at that point is a good one. And so it's kind of like a little bit of a vacation break type thing, and you get to bring your race car and have some serious business too, you know. So yeah, I look forward to Florida every year. That's probably my favorite trip for sure, but this one's up there too.
Now Florida, you know, Volusia here in Charlotte, does not quite strike me as a big block modified track when I think of other tracks you guys run at, right? I mean, it's a half mile, it's big, it's very banked as well. What's it like trying to get these cars around this place, Peter?
Well, our cars handle like turds, so it's kind of it's a challenge, for
My
sure.
second favorite soundbite from you now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it obviously it makes it rewarding when you do figure it out, and there's a lot on the setup side and a lot on the driver's side, too, because their cars don't handle well. So it is a challenge, and obviously the guys up front, they're the ones doing the best job at it.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot like what he said. Our cars have old technology that we're trying to make really fast. So, especially places like here, you're trying to still have the car tractioned up, but still be able to steer, and we fight that a lot with our solid front ends and whatnot. But for me, I feel like for whatever reason here in Volusia seem like similar racetracks, and I feel like we can get a good grip on Volusia, and then here we tend to struggle a little bit more. But back to what he said. I mean, it's just there's not a whole lot that we can do, so we're trying to do a lot with a little, I guess.
Yeah, like if you look at our cars, look at the bodies especially, we got a huge rear spoiler and, really small nose and, barely any front downforce. So, like, as we're going down the straightaways, a lot of the time you'll feel your front end getting really light, whereas late models got that big nose, big rear spoiler, so they're pretty balanced. Sprint cars, they can move their wings, backwards and forwards, more angle, less angle. So, we got little tires at the front too, big tires at the back. So just, the way our cars are made, they're a very unbalanced race car, So like Jack said, we're kind of trying to make the best we can out of an unbalanced car, basically, which, it's a challenge, and it kind of makes it fun too.
I can only imagine how challenging they are when your finger is not working the way it is supposed to. Time off for you? How's that finger doing?
It's getting better, it's starting to almost bend like a normal finger again, but cutting my tendon wasn't really one of my smartest things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, spell it out for everybody again. Cut a tendon leading to surgery, but you also drove some with it banged up.
Yeah. So I cut it. Typical race car driver. I'd be fine. Tape it up. We'll keep going, and kept going for a week or so. Flipped up in Quebec actually, which nothing to do with the hand, just the way it all worked out. But
doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, you hurt yourself in that flip." I'm like, "Nah, that was already like that beforehand." But and then we had the surgery to repair it, and the surgery's been harder to recover from than the actual incident itself, because I guess whatever they got to do to stitch the tendon back together, it was pretty painful, and I couldn't use my hand really at all for a few weeks, let alone drive a race car. I mean, I did try. I had surgery on a Tuesday and raced on the Friday, and I had to come to the realization that, this really isn't going to work, because that was pretty painful and pretty miserable trying to get through, and just knowing you're going to damage it probably more in future, instead of just letting it heal and then getting back to, when you actually are right. So I had to make that decision to just step out for a month or so, and we're not 100% obviously, but it's at the point where it functions pretty good, and it'll just hopefully keep getting better over time, and I won't be that weird old guy with a bung finger,
Well, that finger will probably stay bummed the rest.
Oh, yeah.
It'll look weird.
Yeah, it's funny, because I meet a lot of people and they're like, "Hey, I got one of them too," Like, it seems like every second person I meet's got at least one bung finger. So yeah, I'm part of the club now, I guess. Yeah.
Sprint car racing has some really good nicknames, but I feel like they pale in comparison to some of the nicknames we see in the Super Dirt Car series. So I want to know, I'll start with you, Jack. The Ginger Ninja, was that a self-proclaimed nickname, or was that like a Shane Andrews thing? How did your nickname come about?
So that actually came from one of my buddies that I race against back home, David Schilling, and I think this was like 5-6 years ago. I won my first sportsman race, and there was like an article about it, whatever, and he just commented on it, the Ginger Ninja. And I don't know where he got that from, but then, our announcer at our home track, Albany-Saratoga, Dan Martin, he started using it, and then once he started using it, Shane Andrews jumped on it, and I guess he was probably the one that blew it up. But
a couple guys have the nickname Superman, but no one I know at least has Batman. Peter, how did that come about?
No real good story, unfortunately. Just when I started racing modifieds at home, we had an all-black car, no sponsors, whatever. Hey, let's put a Batman symbol on it, and then it's kind of stuck since then. I mean, I did flip. Some people say...
I thought it was because you hung from the fence a bat.
Yeah, so I did actually the one time. I did flip that car. I hate saying I keep flipping race cars, but,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I flipped that car, and the rear bumper got caught in the top of the catch fence, and it was kind of just like hanging down upside down like a bat does, So a lot of people kind of reference that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of them names that stuck, you know. The Thunder from Down Under was kind of kicking around for a little bit, you know, but yeah, the Batman name's the one that stuck, and you know, Batman is supposed to beat Superman, so I guess I got to. Yeah, guess I got to raise. I got one fan out there.
There we go. It worked. Hey, you know, the websites do such a great job with our full-time series drivers, and invite anybody to go check them out, superdirtcar.com, and you can learn more about these guys. And one of the things, Jack, I found kind of interesting about you, and it is a bit self-effacing, your favorite movie is Top Gun. It was my favorite movie from back in the day. What did you think of Top Gun Maverick?
I mean, I watched that movie when I was probably, I don't know, 8 years old for the first time, 10 years old, and it just stuck. It's always been my favorite movie ever since. And like, if it's, you know, hanging out, what do we throw on? Throw on Top Gun. I don't know. It's just pretty cool. When I growing up, I wanted to be like, as a kid, my real dream was to be a fighter jet pilot.
Sure. Same here. That's what I was gonna do as
really?
well.
Yeah. So I guess this is the next best thing, what we're doing now. But yeah, and I found out, I guess if you don't have perfect eyesight, like born with it, you can't be a fighter jet pilot. So then I said I'll be a super dirt car driver, I guess.
Top Gun Maverick, though. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, the new one?
Maverick?
I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
We've got to quickly wrap this thing up. He's the movie guy. You're the guy that listens to metal.
Yeah.
Little metalhead to get yourself ready. What will you have on your playlist this evening before you roll out?
So I don't actually listen to metal to like get jacked up before a race. I mean,
to calm down?
Yeah, like believe it or not, like, I don't know, maybe part of the reason why I'm so calm is because like I'll just kick back and relax and I'll have like metal music playing, you know. So I'm not one of them guys that gets jacked up before a race. Like I'll actually, more often than not, I'll fall asleep in my car in the lineup chute or something, you know. So I try to be pretty relaxed, you know. I'm not really on edge, and I just don't buy into that whole jacking yourself up type thing. Yeah, but I'm definitely a metalhead for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's bring up a quick pop quiz. I'll ask anybody out here. I remember reading this back in the day. What is the top music that promotes people or causes people to get into automobile accidents? Does anybody have any idea?
It's got to be like symphony shit or something, right?
It's classical.
Taylor Swift?
It is classical. It lulls you into not paying attention, and that's all it takes. So keep on the metal.
Hey, yep.
Top Gun Maverick. Go out and see it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for Race Day Live this morning.
Hey, thanks for having us.
That's Peter Britten. That's Jack Lehner. They'll be on the racetrack here later tonight, racing in the Super Dirt Car Series. We're going to take a quick time out here, 3 minutes to be exact, from our Sage Fruit stage. When we come back, we'll turn our attention to the World of Outlaws, Case Construction late model drivers, and the Iowa team getting together for a big time 2024. Don't go anywhere.
I watched my first race yesterday.
You're on the team, kid. It's orientation day.
Hey, new guy, let's get you up to speed.
Lunchtime.
Your workspace is ready.
Looks like you got a corner office.
Be part of something greater. Toyota. Let's go places.
Since 2016, DIG Race Products has had a sole focus on Northeast dirt modified shocks and suspension tuning. Located centrally in New York, DIG is the industry leader in at-track shock and setup support. This hands-on, at-the-track approach is what guides the design and development in delivering the highest quality shock absorbers to the dirt oval track market. Take your program to the next level and feel the difference on DIG.
Welcome to NOS Energy Endurance Challenge 2.0. Today's challenge is going to demand everything you've got. This year, the Volkswagen Beetle is back.
Let's go, boys.
Oh, we're screwed.
Hey, jack it up.
This is a story of grit. The kind of grit that built America. 180 years of grit reborn to help our customers win. We're the new Case.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for racing in the dirt. With high horsepower demands, ARP delivers maximum clamping force and performance. When failure on the dirt is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
High Torque of New York has the tools and service for all your industrial bolting needs. High Torque of New York is a proud sponsor of the Super Dirt Car Series.
Chase Raudman, Dave Rieff back with you here on our Race Day Live Sage Fruit stage. Getting ready to talk now a little World of Outlaws Case Construction Late Models Championship wrapped up after qualifying. Bobby Pierce mathematically gets it done, but an intense battle for fourth between 6 different drivers separated by about 42 points. One of those is the man in the Columbia sweatshirt. He hails out of Marshalltown, Iowa. Can you put your hands together for the TriStar Promotions driver, the Reaper, Ryan Gustin, who joins us, along with his new teammate coming up in 2024, a guy I've known for a long, long time, hailing out of Des Moines, Iowa. It is Todd Cooney. Guys, thank you so much for coming to our race day stage. We'll talk about this new partnership coming up in just a little bit. But Ryan, we talked about Brad Sweet, David Gravel, the pressure that goes on there. Every position in the final standings is a little bit more money, and you're in an intense one for fourth right now.
Yeah, it definitely it is. We definitely have kind of buried ourselves qualifying 28th or whatever it was there. So hopefully we can dig ourselves out of this hole, starting 9th and 10th in the heat races tonight and then tomorrow. We definitely got some work to do, but the guys are back there working on the car. Hopefully we can find some speed and get it done.
Speaking of the guys working on the car, sounds like, from what I was told, new crew chief for you guys this year on that car. How has that changed throughout the season so far? Where did you guys start to where you guys are now? Is it a pretty big difference?
Yeah, it was. In years past, I've kind of just, been kind of the crew chief and the driver. So, like I've said before, just me, learning to, give, feedback versus just getting under the car and going to work has been kind of the biggest part. But we've had our ups and downs. We've found victory lane and we've taken provisionals too. So it's been up and down. But like I said, hopefully we can get everything figured out here and round out this deal at least in the top 5.
It's easy to talk to these two guys for me because when I cut my teeth, I lived in central Iowa as well. Went to Iowa State University, got a journalism degree there. We started a racing show, and we were always familiar with the Gustins from Marshalltown and the Cooneys from the Des Moines area. You are a 3-time IMCA Super Nationals champion, Todd. You were originally part of this rookie campaign this year. Grab that microphone and tell us a little bit about this new combination that's coming next year and how things didn't exactly work out right in 2023, but are building toward big time in 2024.
Yeah, 2023 definitely wasn't what we expected. We didn't get the results we thought we would get, but we go to these tracks, and a lot of these tracks we've never been to, and you get 2 hot laps, 2 time trials, and you're racing.
Go.
So we haven't been to probably 90% of these tracks we've been to. I've never been to them, so it's been a big learning curve for us, and it was definitely a lot tougher than we expected.
How did the combination come together? Because he's going to be a valuable asset for you next year moving forward. I assume he's going to bring some notebooks and probably be able to tell you a little bit about what you're going to be facing, because I'm sure there's going to be new tracks next year too.
Exactly, and more than anything is I'm kind of getting towards the end of my racing days. I want to do more of the I want to be involved still, but maybe not driving part anymore. But I do want to do one more year, which I've been saying that for like 10 years. So, but I think
that's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. So I think next year probably will be. I just think we're better than what we showed this year. That's why I want to do one more year. And as far as my dad started this team many moons ago, and he likes a driver that gets up on the wheel, drives the wheels off of it, and gives you somebody to watch. And if Ryan don't win the show, he at least puts on a show, and that's what we're looking for. And he's exactly what me and my dad would love to have as a driver, and it works out great that he's 30 minutes up the road. And we've known his family on both sides forever. Me and his Uncle Daryl's had fierce races and competitors for years, and me and Rick have, and there's a lot of respect between all of us, and I don't see nothing but good things to happen.
You said many moons. I don't mean to interrupt, Chase. I mean, you were racing already when I came on the scene. How far back do you go? Early 90s? Late 80s?
I started racing karts, I think, in 83 or 84.
Early 80s? Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember I was just talking to someone the other day. I said, man, I remember when I started racing, I was the young kid. Yeah, and I'm the old guy. So
I know how you're feeling as I turn my attention back to the young kid right here.
So in my research for this show, obviously I do a lot of sprint car stuff, not really very well known in the late model side of things, but it sounds like, you don't really have a full-time crew of guys that you hired to be there, right? It's mostly like a family deal, right? What's that like, knowing that all these other teams and whatnot have these guys they brought in, they're paying them a bunch of money to help on the car, but you guys are more of like a family operation going up and down the road trying to compete with the Outlaws?
Yeah, it's me and Dave Saffel helps me, and Curtis Glovers works for us on the gutter side of it, on our business. He gets to come out and help us as well, and he works on the cars during the week with us, and my son stays home, takes care of the business. So, I mean, it's challenging for sure, because, you definitely need to have that right person in your corner, and at the end of the day, we're just working class people that are still working every day and trying to race on top of that, and we're living a dream, we really are, and with Ryan next year, I mean, it's going to make the dream even better.
Part of that change, Ryan, is going to be switching from the rocket car that you've been in for a long, long time. Steve Arpin was on the set here yesterday, switching over to the Longhorn car. What do you expect out of that? I know there are anticipations, I know there are goals, but give these fans that are here and watching on Dirt Vision just an idea of what that transition looks like. Is it insurmountable? Is it fairly easy?
I mean, it's a race car. It's got 4 wheels and an engine. So
That's how I look at it, yeah. But there are a couple things I'm sure that are quirky about it.
Yeah, there is, like you said, I've been in Rockets for a long time, and can't thank them for everything they've done for me over the years. But I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I've never drove a Longhorn. I've only drove a couple of chassis brands of late models. I think I've drove Victory Circle, and Rockets is basically it. So I really don't know what to expect. I mean, obviously the Longhorns are dominant. They've dominated both series. So I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Have you been able to take any stock of them yet? Have you been in a Longhorn? Are you in a Longhorn now? Are you making that transition, or when does that start?
We're gonna debut it at All Tech here in December.
Okay.
You said Victory Circle there. Is that Victory Circle from California?
Yes, it is.
So my dad actually used to own Victory Circle in the mid 2000s. Yes, Craig Raudman, but it was more of a pavement late model thing back then. So that's kind of crazy you mentioned that.
Yeah, when Billy Moyer was involved is when I think Todd has a Victory Circle cars too.
Gotcha.
Another guy from Central I, yeah. We got
That's
a pretty racy little state there.
There's a lot of racing that goes on in Iowa. Probably more dirt racing goes on in Iowa than any other state, I'd be willing to bet.
What would you say your favorite track then is? I got to believe, Todd, let's start with you. Probably got to be Boone. You won those Super Nationals there.
I do. Boone's a lot of fun for me, and I did beat Ryan at Boone this year there.
Yes,
and passed
him. Did.
And passed him. So that was my one bragging right for the year. I think it was the only one I got on him this year.
Do you have a win at Boone?
No.
Because I do. It was a media race way back in the 90s, but we're not going to get into that.
No.
They do more of those.
They're fun. They're fun.
Yep.
Your favorite track, though?
Honestly,
from the home state.
From
Iowa, yeah.
I would say Marshalltown. I haven't got to race there much at all because it's always been IMCA. I've been an open racer basically my whole career, but the little bit that I've ran there, it's a fun place. You can get up on the top and rip. It's a lot of fun.
I've seen a lot of videos from there. Always looks fun. But, one thing I've noticed with late model racing in my short time of paying attention to it, it seems like from one year to the next, one guy can be so dominant, and then the very next year he can struggle. Why do you think that is? I've never really been able to understand how that happens.
Because this is the toughest form of motorsports there is, in my opinion.
Everybody gets better and better.
Yes. I mean, it changes week to week, not yearly. I mean, I'm talking week to week. You can be a hero to a zero.
It just seems like
corner by corner too sometimes out here.
And it seems like, this has got to be a true fact that there is just way more late models in the country than there are sprint cars overall. It just leads to more drivers, more teams really that get involved and start doing some R&D and get better and better, right?
There is, yeah. There's so much technology in these cars. Like, you talk to any sprint car guy, I don't know much about sprint cars, but it looks like they haven't really changed.
Yeah.
For years, the way they go around the racetrack, like late models, 10 years ago set flat, and now they're all drooped out, like everything's
That's
changed.
what I noticed. Yeah, like you watch old videos and the cars their attitude on the track is way different than it is now.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's definitely come a long, long ways.
We had our Super Dirt Car competitors. You were just side stage for Jack Lehner and Peter Britten, the Ginger Ninja and the Batman. How did the Reaper come about?
I honestly really don't know. I think I had a Reaper on my car one time, a long time ago, and it just kind of took off. People started calling me that.
Do you have a nickname, Todd? Sure you do. Coon Dog.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
That started years ago. Jeff Ike would always scream, Coon Dog, and it just kind of never went away. Anybody knows Jeff knows the
Ruben will say that, absolutely.
Yeah, Jeff's always screamed that at me. It's just kind of always been there.
Hannah Newhouse was talking to me yesterday and said, Ryan, that you guys, from the sounds of it, have a really fun pit area when you are at the racetrack. What do you guys got going on over there? Barbecue going on or what?
No, just joking around, having a good time, messing with each other type of thing. I mean, when you're out on the road as much as we are, you got to have a little fun with it, or it'll wear you down in a hurry. You got to be serious. Obviously we're all here to win and try to make some money and do the best we can, but you got to have a little fun with it too. Otherwise, as much as we're gone, and if you ain't having fun, you're going to have a miserable year.
You gave me a fun night way back in the day. You remember your family at the Coke syrup races Toby Cruz put on in Des Moines?
Yeah, you drove my go-kart.
Put me in your go-kart there. Started me right behind the round guy. The round guy as well. That's aptly named radio DJ. And I remember our discussion. This one's going to be easy. You just shove him into turn one and drive underneath of him, and that's pretty much the way it went down.
Yep. The round guy, I believe, had a Yamaha on, and you had a 5-horsepower clone motor.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it is really cool to have you on the stage. It's fun to see you out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I cannot wait to see how things progress next year. Good luck to the both of you.
I appreciate it. And like I said, I can't thank Alan and Todd enough for giving me this opportunity, and we're going to make the best of it.
Ryan Gustin, the Reaper. Todd Cooney out of Des Moines. They're going to be a powerhouse team next year, part of the Longhorn. Please put your hands together for them as they take their way back into their pit areas, get ready for the heat races tonight.
Good luck
Race
tonight,
day
guys.
live. It's going to continue to roll on. We've got one more segment coming your way on this bright, sunshiny day. Might have to switch sides of the stage, get sun over here. That'd be really nice. But when you come back, we'll talk a little bit to the people behind the scenes. Somebody you may not know, but you're certainly going to know about what they do to bring us great events like the World of Outlaw World Finals. That's coming your way next year from the Sage Fruit stage.
Job after job, you push productivity to the limit. That's why your Case construction fleet deserves the best protection available. #1 engine oil, formulated for oxidation and deposit control and extended drain intervals. Give your equipment the right tools for the job with genuine lubricants from Case Construction. Only available from your Case dealer.
I've had this 1998 Grand Jeep Cherokee for 15 years now. It just passed 187,000 miles and started running rough. I got an oil change and the tech suggested Seafoam. I'd heard good things, so I gave Seafoam motor treatment a try. And I'm glad I did. The engine smoothed out almost immediately. It runs so much better now.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to SeafoamWorks.com.
The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw!
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Welcome back to the Race Day Live set on our Sage Fruit stage as we get ready for night number 1, actually, of racing, qualifying last night, but it is the World of Outlaw World Finals. I'm Dave Rieff. This is Chase Raudman. You know him from the Dirt Division World of Outlaws pit reporter gig. And now we get a couple of very important people up here. Not that race car drivers aren't, but this is something that couldn't be done. The nice lady here, the beautiful woman in the white sweater, that's Lauren Albano from NOS Energy Drinks. We know her very, very well. And from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's Eric Singhaus. Please, these are important people. They're the reason you guys are here today, all the hard work they do behind the scenes. So can we give them a very nice round of applause, please? Eric, since you guys are both smiling so pretty. Eric, I want to start with you. I've been fortunate enough to come to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for a lot of years now, whether it be supporting this great event, whether it be at ZMAX Dragway. This facility, whether it's here, Vegas, Bristol, out in Sonoma, first class all the way. You make it very, very easy. You have a wonderful job here. You get to be coordinating all of this. How awesome a responsibility is that?
It's incredible, you know, and it makes you really grateful for what you get to do. I mean, we put, you know, our motto here at Charlotte Motor Speedway is fans first. You know, we do every bit of this for the fans, to put a smile on people's faces, to make memories, to create memories. This is, you know, it's such a joy. And I grew up in dirt racing and dirt late model racing. I am diehard dirt fan, so that, you know, out of all of our portfolio and all these events that we, you know, have the opportunity to do and entertain people from all around the world, this is my favorite event. I mean, we have people here from 49 different states and 6 countries to come watch the greatest show on dirt.
I meant to ask you, what are the 2 states not represented? Do you know what that is?
It is Rhode Island. Rhode Island's the only one. We have 49 states. So yeah,
how many
Rhode
states
Island.
are there? Are you smarter than a 5th grader? No, I'm not. We just established that.
Now, Eric, I want to ask you this: is, you know, as somebody that follows World of Outlaws everywhere, you see a lot of guys that work at racetracks, and most of the time, somebody in your position, I feel like, is kind of a seasoned, older gentleman, maybe. You are very young, it seems like. How old are you, and how did you get into this position, being so young?
Yeah, so I'm 29 years old. So I started here as an intern, as the majority of our staff has. We have an incredible internship program here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I started here as an intern when I was 23 years old, right out of college, and I moved here from Ohio. I'm, you know, born and raised in Ohio, moved here with my dad's pickup truck, and my wife paid the bills for 3 months because they were unpaid internships at the time. And, you know, just started, you know, really trying to, you know, I expressed how much I love dirt racing and wanted to, you know, one of my first jobs here as an intern was packing the track, you know, on the Coke 600 weekend when we used to run the sprint cars here. And I just really fell in love with this place. I fell in love with the history of this place. I fell in love with, you know, all the old pictures and when it was being built. And I just, you know, I used to come here as a fan with my dad. Me and my dad would do a guys trip to Charlotte for the World Finals every year. And, you know, I, you know, remembered all those memories, and they all kind of flood back to you during this weekend. I mean, this is my favorite weekend of the year out of all of our, you know, portfolio of events. So.
As cool a job as Eric has, Lauren, you perhaps are right there with him, perhaps even better. You are the marketing manager for NOS Energy. You're the reason we've been out here for the last 4 years calling this the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. And this is a job that you take very, very seriously as well. You have a lot of fun doing this as well.
I do. Sometimes probably too much fun, but I love it. So, you know, we have to work for a living, of course, and I'm pretty fortunate that this is what I get to do and get to do it with a great group of people.
And how do you keep growing this thing every year? It seems like the NOS family gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and some of the most charismatic, great drivers that we have across all forms of motorsports.
I mean, I think you said it right there. You know, we've built a family. You know, they're not just drivers to us. It's not just a sponsorship. It's not, you know, we truly believe it's a partnership. And, you know, we stick with those partners year over year to grow it. I think you see, you know, we started with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and he's been with the family for 12 years. And, you know, we remain with those partners, we remain with those drivers so that we can grow with them and evolve and come up with fresh ideas each year. And I think loyalty is, you know, a big thing when you have these partnerships because it just gets better and you can build off of it year after year. And we started with him in NASCAR, and, you know, he grew up dirt racing, and that's what brought us to the 17 team in World of Outlaws. And, you know, he introduced us to Chili Bowl Nationals, and it just kind of grew from there. And, you know, we've only been in dirt racing for, you know, since 2017, but fell in love with it. The fans are incredibly loyal. You know, like Eric, we love dirt racing, and so we're going to be here for a while, and it's been great for the brand, and the fans are awesome.
My question for you was, I feel like every big event we go to, sometimes not even big events, but you're at a lot of the races just hanging out, and it seems like you're really friendly with a lot of the drivers. Obviously, you guys sponsor a lot of drivers that race in dirt. What is your background? Did you grow up in racing? It seems like you know everybody already.
I did not. So I grew up in New York City.
Okay.
So I grew up in New York City. I still live in New York City. I actually was an economics major, and I interned for my dad on Wall Street. So this is very foreign for me. And I stumbled into this. You know, my first job was working for a small marketing agency. And then just started working in beverages and really just kind of stumbled into this through work and was not a motorsports fan until I started working on NAS Energy. And now I spend my weekends, if I'm not at a racetrack, I watch the races with my family. My niece and nephew love watching racing with me. Everyone is Sheldon, by the way. So if there's a car on track, oh, it's Sheldon.
Yep.
They walked up to a vending machine and saw NAS Energy, and my nephew was like, "It's Sheldon." So they see NAS and they think Sheldon. They don't think of me. They think of Sheldon. So yeah, we just, you know, this was foreign for me, but now it's what, you know, I do on the weekends, even when I'm not at a racetrack. I sit and watch it with my family.
One of my favorite flavors is right here. Actually, this is my favorite flavor, is the Sonic Sour, but something got announced earlier this week or last week.
Which is good, by the way. I've sampled
a week ago.
So that was one thing that they were missing, right? Was having a zero sugar, right?
Yeah, so we had a zero sugar years ago. The formula wasn't quite right. So NAS Original, the blue can's our number one flavor. The fans love it, and so we needed to, you know, match a zero sugar with that flavor. And we launched this about a week ago. The feedback from the fans has been incredible. So we're hopeful for this one. And yeah, we launched it about a week ago, and it's been doing really well for us. So. 200 milligrams of caffeine, zero sugar, and the same flavor as NAS Original.
So 200 milligrams. If I had 5, that's a lot. We'll just leave it. You know what I love about you guys?
You supporting NAS, but maybe not. Maybe not that much.
Maybe not the spokesman. Maybe not the spokesman because I've had 2. Anyway, we'll get on to that. The best part about what you do is you love what you do, which means it's not really like work. However.
Correct.
This is a massive undertaking. Everything that goes on is a massive undertaking. Can you give these fans an idea what the process you go through, when it starts, how early you start planning, the things you lead every one of our ready meetings every day? It is a big time responsibility.
It is, but you know, it takes an incredible team to put this on, and this is, you know, all teamwork from our events team to our sales team to our marketing team, our PR team. Everyone is involved. Everybody has a hand in World Finals. And, you know, we have an incredible portfolio of events in the fall that we're back-to-back weeks, 5 weekends in a row with different events from Super Motocross to NHRA to car shows to NASCAR racing to then World Short Track last week and then World Finals. So, you know, we start this World Finals process the week after World Finals. We take all of our recap notes down. We sit in a meeting upstairs and go over what went right, what went wrong, where can we improve, and we just keep that in a catalog. And then we usually really start diving in to, you know, the planning meetings in July is when we're always working on it in the back of our heads, and if something comes up, we think about it, we write it down, we put it in play. But we really start working with, you know, World Racing Group around July. We get into a bi-weekly call at that point, and and start working from there. And then, like I said, we're in constant communication with each other all the way through November, and here we are today. So, but like I said, it's just an incredible team that I'm fortunate enough just to be a small part of, because, like you said, we love what we do. We love our jobs. It doesn't feel like work, right? We're out here creating smiles and putting smiles on people's faces and getting a little dirt in your beer, or your nos. So.
So it's not. You're not punching a time clock. You're working hard.
Yeah.
You're getting your hours. Trust me. You probably don't even want to break it down on a per hour basis. Then it wouldn't be. But no, it's so much fun, isn't it, Lauren?
It's a blast.
Hit that microphone so
It's
they
a
can.
blast.
Yeah. So how will you spend tonight? Where will you be?
I'll be bouncing between the SJM hauler, the CMR hauler, and then we have a bunch of guests here in our NOS hospitality, so you'll see me a little bit all over the place.
And Eric, where will you be?
I'll be in the control tower, so when you see all this amazing pyro going on tonight in the infield with all the gas bombs and fireworks and everything we got jam-packed down in there, I'll be up there on radio cueing our pyro friends.
I was going to ask you about that. Last year, I remember those gas bombs, and I had no idea they were going off, and I was in the infield next to that trailer down there, and I about fell over. So that is happening, so I can be kind of prepared.
Yes, so we'll have...
And a few more of them because they keep us nice and warm.
It shakes the whole place.
On a night like tonight's going to be, obviously we encourage everybody to bundle up, but, we got some natural fire pits in the infield for Super Dirt Car Series feature, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car feature, and Case Construction Late Model feature will all have gas bombs. And then something new this year, we added G-Flames, so you'll see a bunch of kind of pedestal stands down there in the infield, and they're all remote control flames. So anytime a car crosses the start-finish line, we'll hit the flames. So we love pyro at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Guys, thank you for all that you do to bring us a great series and a great place to race. We love being here, and again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lauren Albano, Eric Singhaus, great representatives. That's going to wrap it up for our Race Day Live. Chase, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. That was fun. Got to learn about some people that we don't really get to hear about too much. So
2:30 again tomorrow, by the way. We'll be back up here as Hannah Newhouse from the Case Construction World of Outlaws Series brings us here. We'll be joined by Donnie Schatz, Gio Selzy from the World of Outlaws Energy. That'll be fun. Gio came through the studio today, second to none. Adam Pearson, Chris Heil scheduled for the Super Dirt Car Series. Nick Hoffman, Gordy Gundaker, a whole lot more. It comes your way again at 2:30. Everybody go out and enjoy your night of racing. We're going to have heat racing in 3 different series tonight as it's night number 2 of the World of Outlaw World Finals. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll be back with our studio pre-race as Connor Wade has all of that from the Dirt Vision Studio, presented by Milton Hershey School. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Race Day Live.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
ARP, the ultimate fasteners for racing in the dirt. With high horsepower demands, ARP delivers maximum clamping force and performance. When failure on the dirt is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
It's orientation day. Welcome to the team.
Who wants to race?
I like this team. Be part of something greater. Toyota, let's go places.
To pick up the win here at Kokomo Speedway. It's going to be Kenna McIntosh, 08, victorious tonight.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
Today, we race. There's a look at the dirt track at Charlotte.